Welcome to Vacuum Wars, and to our best car vacuum of 2023 competition video. We bought 12 of the most popular vacuums that claim to be good for auto detailing and put them through a grueling series of tests over the past few weeks. We took all those test results, as well as their specs and features, and put it all into a spreadsheet to see if we could more or less objectively find out which one of these was the best vacuum for your car. So links in the description, and let's get started. First, the methodology. I determined that one of the key things I would want in a car vacuum, besides power and good attachments, is relative portability. For that reason, I limited this competition to vacuums with a 5-gallon or less capacity. That tended to be the maximum size that could easily fit in either the seat or the floorboard of the average car. I grouped the vacuums I bought into 3 categories: the 4 to 5 gallon models, which tended to be the more expensive types, the 2.5 to 3 gallon models, which were smaller and more of the budget options, and then we had the handheld corded models. These types are often advertised as car vacuums online. They plug into the 12-volt plug in your car, but they have quite a bit less suction power than the others and are not actually that good for car vacuuming in my opinion, at least compared to the others. So I decided to leave them out of the main competition and come back to discussing them at the end. Starting off with the specs and features, I took into account their size, which I calculated as cubic inches, as well as their weight, where the lower the number of both, the better. I measured their cord length, even though I suspect most people will use extension cords when vacuuming their cars. I gave them extra points if they had good cord management, by which I mean they had a place to wind up the cord and or a way to easily unwind the cord. I measured their hose length. I gave them points if they had a kink-proof hose, meaning a particularly high-quality hose, which only the Workshop and Metrovac vacuums did. I gave them points if they had hose swivels, meaning that the hose could turn independently of the vacuum, making it much easier to use in various positions, with the best of them having swivels on both the handle end and the base end. Attachments are a big part of car vacuums, and I gave them points based on the number of attachments they had, but more points if they had what I considered good attachments related to car detailing, which means to me some kind of claw tool, whether the large style like you see with the Armor All, VacMaster, Workshop, and others, or a smaller claw tool like you see with the Rigid and Craftsman. Some of them, like the Rigid and Craftsman, had optional car accessory kits sold separately, which probably would be necessary with the Rigid since it only comes with one tool, the small claw tool, but I felt for instance that the Craftsman already came with mostly everything you would get with the accessory set, so it wasn't necessary there. Interestingly, one of the cheapest ones, the Armor All 2.5 horsepower, had the most thought-out auto detailing attachment set of them all in my opinion. I especially liked its mini brush attachment, which is really a game changer for those hard-to-clean cracks and creases in cars. The Metrovac had a huge amount of attachments, including small brushes like the Armor All, but it surprisingly didn't have anything like a claw tool. It had a wider upholstery brush that I used for the pickup tests, but it seemed like an oversight not to have a dedicated claw tool with the Metrovac. I gave them points if they had a blower as well as a suction port, which most of them did. I gave them points if they could be used as a wet vacuum, like for water-related tasks, and all of them but the Metrovac could be used that way. All of the vacuums we tested failed the filtration test, which was not surprising, and I don't mind it as much with car vacuums like these, since they are primarily used outside. But I did give them points if they had the option to upgrade their filters to a high-efficiency filter, which many of them did. Moving on to their power and pickup tests. I consider suction one of the more important metrics for car vacuums, since you're often using an attachment more or less sealed to the upholstery, but airflow, which we tested at the base, is also an important power metric. So I combined the two scores to get a general sense of their overall power. And here, the Craftsman 5-gallon, the newest model on the list, was the winner, followed closely by the Rigid and the VacMaster, with the Armor All 2.5 horsepower being the most powerful of the smaller models. I found that these power numbers corresponded more or less with the various pickup tests we did, the most revealing of which was the copper BBs on rubber mat test, where the most powerful models could pick them up easily, and the less powerful ones took much longer if they were able to pick them up at all. Power was also a good predictor of success with the real-world tests, where the more powerful models took less time to pick up the embedded debris from car upholstery. One thing I found while doing these real-world tests is that I really do enjoy some kind of brush tool for car detailing, and the smaller the better in my opinion. Finally, I negatively scored them based on their current prices. Basically, the more expensive they were, the more points they lost. Before I move on to the winners, let me briefly talk about these handheld car vacuums. I love the idea of these, and I wish that they had more power. The Varsk was the most powerful of the three that I bought, but even it was about 3 times less powerful than the average score of the others, and it easily took this type about 5 times longer to clean up car upholstery. That being said, they do the job for the most part, but they just take a lot longer to do it. So, after adding all the numbers up, the top 3 overall scores were the Craftsman 5-gallon, the VacMaster Beast 5-gallon, and surprisingly, the much cheaper Armor All 2.5 horsepower came in 3rd overall. The Armor All is also the obvious budget pick here since it is so much cheaper than the others. But if you came here to find out the best car vacuum of 2023, then my pick is the new Craftsman 5-gallon 5 horsepower model. It's the most powerful of all of these on the list, beating out the VacMaster Beast, which was our previous winner. It comes with a huge amount of actually useful car detailing attachments, a great hose setup. It's the only one that comes with a garage mount. The only downside to the Craftsman is its price and unconventional shape, which I attribute to it being designed to have the option to be mounted on the wall. As for the handheld units, the Varsk beat out the 2 This Works models in my tests. It was the most powerful by a little bit, and it definitely had the best features. It's also the only one that can be used as an air compressor, which could be useful since all of these are designed to be kept in the car, which has its own set of utility and place. Links in the description to the entire top 10 list here, and be sure to subscribe to Vacuum Wars before you leave. Thanks for watching.